Hello, my name is Dean Venerman, and I teach at Archbishop M. O'Neill Catholic High School in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm currently the math science education leader, and I'm also currently taking some grad classes at the University of Regina. Now, one thing that's always interested me is to have students be critical thinkers in the classroom, and also when they're outside the classroom, especially online. And our class that we just completed was on digital citizenship and media literacy. So this gave me an opportunity to explore uh, basically uh, how to check out a website or even stuff off social media to see if they're fake news or not. And that's huge in today's day and age. It's always has been. It's there was propaganda and stuff before, but now students and everyone we're inundated with a lot of choices for our news. A lot of people are trying to get our either our opinion or they want us to believe in what they have to say. And now more than ever before, there's so much out there that it's really hard to separate the wheat from the chaff. So, what I ended up doing here, and we'll just kind of minimize this, is for my project, I talked about crap detection. If you're not sure what crap means yet, just hang on and we'll get to that. But I'll definitely provide this resource for everybody to take a look at. But I'll just kind of walk people through it. Now, the some of the initial inspiration for doing this was definitely here in Saskatchewan. We're lucky. Dr. Alec Kurlos and Katja Hildebrand a few years ago put together a great document for the province of Saskatchewan that kind of enhanced it with the curriculum. And there's a policy guide for digital citizenship in education in Saskatchewan schools. Um, and as you can see, it's well put together. And one of the points right off the bat that really stood out to me was that we need to ensure that students are equipped with the skills to safely and smartly sift through this abundance of information and to navigate online spaces in ways that contribute to their learning. So a lot of what this document is based on too is Ribble's 9 elements of digital citizenship. And I would strongly encourage people to take a look at this document and also to check out what Dr. Ribble's information is inside of there. So what I also did too is I just kind of set up a couple of things here too. When you take a look, what's the future of truth and misinformation online? And a lot of studies are saying, it's probably going to even get more inundated with misinformation. How do we sift through that? So misinformation is not like plumbing problem you fix. It's a social condition like crime that you must constantly monitor and adjust to. And this is definitely true because, like, even in our class, not only were we talking about websites and graphics, but we even are seeing that pretty soon video already is and will continue to be, have deep fakes with it, which we'll really try to have to figure out what's going on with it. You have the rise of fake news, and what will happen in 10 years? Will things get better? Will there be more blocks? Will there be that? Or will there be more information that we'll have to kind of weed through and see what's happening on that? With merchants of information are all over the internet, but the problem lies with us. So I thought this was really interesting because, fake news, I wouldn't say the word added on there, that's why I use crap, although crap is an acronym we'll get into a little bit. But you can definitely see that, misinformation is definitely not new. There's propaganda before, but it was us. And, just our willingness to sometimes read something and just kind of share it right away with others or use it in something without really, getting down to it and really checking out the source and where it's come from. And that's where it is. We have the importance to teach critical thinking. A lot of my interviews and things that I had for this project, this can't start early enough with students. I can go from K to 12 and definitely beyond. And also, too, it's really important that we do this in schools because sometimes students might not, get this at home. So how are we as teachers gonna, when we have that, kind of break the digital divide and have every student have an opportunity to, be a critical thinker, and how are we going to pursue that? So critical thinking is definitely the essence of being a crap detector and what the benefits of that are for sure. So, and again, with social media, a lot of kids are getting their news from social media now, either on TikTok or Snapchat, those type of things. They don't use Twitter as much anymore, and maybe even Facebook, but definitely social media comes out, and we're quick to repost and share a lot of the information. So we post a lot, but do we actually know what we're posting on that? So, one of the inspirations behind my project was Mary Beth Hertz. She came and talked to our class one time, and she guided me basically to another awesome gentleman who I got to interview, and that's part of this project too, named Howard Rheingold. And basically, it turns out to what is crap detection. And Hemingway, back in even 1954, basically said every man should have a built-in automatic crap detector operating inside of him. Now, this doesn't happen by fate. It's something definitely we need to work on and try to get better at. So the work of Howard Rheingold is great, and it was really great talking to him. And I definitely encourage people to take a peek at some of his work, and I'll definitely share that with you. So what I decided to do with this inspiration and as part of the class project is to create this resource called That's Crap Detection, the website. Now I filled this full of great information that I'm hoping to share and that I'm hoping that people will use and refine and let me know if it's working for them and that type of thing. So again, I used to do a lot of, I still do a lot of this in my class. And I started something small. I use a website called DHMO. If you ever want to take a look at it, it's quite interesting actually. And I've used this with my students, and maybe some of you guys are familiar with it. DHMO stands for dihydrogen monoxide. And basically, when you look through it, it says that it's found in things like in acid rain, cancer cells. Hitler fed it to his attack dog. If you consume too much of it at once, you can die from this substance. And all of these are true facts. But what's really interesting is that hydrogen monoxide stands for di, which is two, so two hydrogen, mono is one oxygen, so H2O. And I actually had students sign a petition to ban this because they didn't really, I kind of felt bad a little bit about betraying their trust. But I'm just showing that they have to question everything, and not everything you believe on the net is necessarily true. Or sometimes, like in this case, all this information was true, but it was skewed to get you to think definitely, another way. So I was able to take that idea and create crowd detection, the lesson. So in this lesson plan, what I do is I provide a lot of ways to kind of introduce uh, this to people and to try to get students to do it. So it's just a basic thing of there's a bunch of hoax sites that are pre-made that people can take a look at and discuss that with their kids. And they can do what I did. You can do like some kind of a petition to get them to sign it, or you could definitely get them to reflect in other ways. So when you take a look at this lesson, and this is a nice piece, by the way, as well, is that I'm part of a connected educator program in Regina Catholic Schools, and this template, that's where I got this template from. Uh, so inside of this lesson, I have resources in there and some PDFs that I'll share with you too. You can see which are the essential skills, critical thinking being one, communicating and digital citizenship. There are Ripple's 9 elements and how this lesson would apply for that. And, yeah, like I said before, this website here, which I have in my resources, and you're more than welcome to have a list of various hoax sites, including DHMO, like I said. And there's different ways to set this up and have your kids talking about it before and then after. During it, you kind of explain, what could be fake news or what could be misinformation online. And you can talk about what crap is, and I'm getting to that. And then after, you can have students check out, think sources that they find, and definitely do that. So I think this would be more assessment for learning to be able to do something like this. So what I've created here is I've created a crap navigation information sheet. So when you're looking at a source online, whether it's a web page or you get something from, say, social media, you could use this sheet to to break it apart. So there's what crap is. Is it current? Is it reliable? Is it accurate? Is it purposeful? Look at the web extensions. How do those have to is it they were really paid? Were they from a government? That definitely can see where biases could lead into, which leads into biases. Was it for the author's influences, financial gain, political gain? Was the error on purpose or not? We talk a lot about lateral reading. Like, do you read within the website? Like, look at the author, the date, all those things, and look inside and click on different pages. And one of my favorite things, and one of the things I've learned from this, is lateral reading from outside the site. So, are you putting like 3 or 4 tabs, for example, up on there with the same subject and cross-referencing, just like you would like in an essay back in the day, and seeing if it confirms or contrasts. There are a lot of fact-checking sites, and I share a lot of this on the website too, like Snopes, PolitiFact, Pointer, FactCheck. One of the Canadian ones there is FactsCan as well. And you can also do a lot of fact-checking with image searching. Google has a reverse image search, so you can see where the source was, and there's other sources out there too that will check the credibility on that. So yeah, this is definitely feel free to use it, and I think it's something I'm really proud of, and yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with it to use in the classroom. I've also created an infographic here that you're more than welcome to use, talking about again an overview of biases, what crap detection is, website extensions, what lateral reading is, and within a site and outside comparison, and a list of fact checking sites, media checking sites, and social media checking sites. So feel free to use that as well. Um, as you can see here too, what I was able to do is I was able to interview a lot of people, some people within my class, inside of my school, and some experts in the field. And those were the 3 main questions that we talked about: personal and professional experiences with fake news, tools and strategies, and how to debunk them and verify information. And also, how do you find that balance between falling for anything and believing nothing, right? With all that. So, you're more than welcome to take a look at through some of the interviews that I have. I've also, with those interviews, I've also created a podcast. So if you want to, put them in as you do your bike or whatever, that's great. I've also went through everything I went in that lesson. I've created a toolkit playlist. So there I talk about the different tools that you can use inside of there too, and how to break down that lesson plan that I was sharing with you. I've also put all my resources in Wakelet. I could talk a lot about Wakelet just on its own, but if you are interested in some of the things I've been sharing, like the work of Howard Rheingold, you can take a look at the inspiration. And as you go through the Wakelet, you can see I've added the different tools that you could use. And I've added things like the image checkers. So I have a wealth bias. I really actually like this one with the ad fonts media home. It's really cool to see the different news agencies and whether they're left, right, or in the middle. So we talk about biases. So you're more than welcome to check out the Wakelet. And if you're wondering what this Wakelet thing is, you can definitely ask me some questions too. But this site right here is where you'd find a lot of the hoax sites that I was showing about before. Media Sparks, which is Canadian based, has a lot of great crap detection and digital citizenship and media literacy um, ideas and lessons, and so does Common Sense. There's a huge amount on there. I found a lot of videos and stuff that you can share, including something from Crash Course, and they have a whole video series on navigating digital information. Again, there's lots of work on Twitter you can take out, and a few follows that you can take a look at here. This is a really cool, this bad news game. It basically shows how people create their own social media kind of movement and stuff, whether it's real or not. And there's some infographics, and also that Saskatchewan Digital Assistant Policy Guide is also up there. Yeah, and then this was a reflection that of everything they did with a couple of uh, with some extra time with 2 of the students in my class that we had, and we had a great talk about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video on my project. That's crop detection. If you have any questions, please let me know, and thanks for watching.